Care what people think? Listen to this. Hello, my name is Stephanie Toma, and welcome to my channel. We talk about things like personal growth, professional growth, and original music, and the occasional travel digital nomad tidbit. Today, we are talking about a little thing called love, self-love to be more precise. And I have had my own journey with this, twists and turns and different relationships that reflect things back and different periods of solitude that reflect other things. I'm going to share 3 different steps on the self-love journey. And I would like you to identify where you are now and where you'd like to be. The first step is consciously proving yourself to others. The second is proving your worth to yourself. And the third is being in a state of being, knowing that you're worthy and enough. And it's possible that you could oscillate between different ways of being in different contexts, but the idea is that I'm going to walk you through a breakdown of each one and how you know that you're in that phase. And maybe there's a certain person or a certain catalyst for a certain way of being. Or maybe you find that in most situations, you do fall into one camp. So this is an opportunity to be mindful and self-reflect for greater self-love. Being in a state of proving yourself to others. Many of us have been here, especially if you are goal-oriented and if you've ever gotten gratification from getting good grades in school, if you've ever won an award and felt like that was pretty groovy, or if someone gives you a compliment and it makes your day, right? It's normal to have a sense of gratitude and happiness when people affirm us. However, there comes a time when, if there's a sense of reliance on it to feel good or to be okay, then it's actually not serving us to the highest degree that it could. We are social beings, so I think it's a little unrealistic to go for always being fully self-contained and not letting anyone's praise or criticism ever get to you. However, there are ways that you can be aware of when it's not just about receiving the affirmation, or sometimes being attuned to other people and how you're being perceived or received. It's when you're actively, consciously or subconsciously, proving yourself to others, proving your worth, proving your skill set. And there are certain contexts or certain chapters in life. Let's say that you're new to a field in your career. And maybe you feel like, oh, I really do have to prove myself and get those testimonials, get the press mentions, get whatever it is that will help others know that you're okay or that you're worth it, so that they're mitigating their own risk by working with you, or being a partner who's worthy of being in partnership with, going above and beyond, bending over backwards, maybe to the detriment of your own life and your own goals. So only you will know, or maybe some onlookers could notice, where you are on this journey, going from proving yourself to others, proving yourself to yourself, and then simply being. What a concept. I'd like you to reflect on the ways in which you prove yourself to others. And if that's not coming very naturally to you, then another way to phrase this: what are some unacceptable types of rejections? What are you unavailable for? So that's kind of flipping it on its head. Let's say that you're unavailable to be fired. You're unavailable to be broken up with. And you'll notice that these standards are not really standards. They're out of your control. However, when you are in a pattern of proving yourself to others, these things will feel normalized, because there is that external focus. So let's say that you're in that phase and you're ready to move on to what could be the next natural progression. Doesn't need to be, but it can be, which would be proving yourself to yourself. So this could look like setting up challenges for yourself. Okay, I'm guilty of this. Workout challenges, and every single day without fail, like a machine, just doing the thing you said you would do to yourself, and essentially using follow through and structure to show that you are a good person, that you can be relied upon, if only by yourself. Then if anyone questions, let's say that you've redirected your focus from proving your worth to other people, and then the focus is now directed on what you have control over. Notice that control is still in the picture. It's less about being fluid. It's more about being regimented. You know, let's say you don't win that award, or that person doesn't say good job, or you don't get asked out by that person. Then you tell yourself, oh, it doesn't matter because look, I'm doing X, Y, and Z, and I know I'm worthy because I attributed value to those things. So can you see how this is a repetition of the previous, where it's not really attuning to your intrinsic worth yet? It's still focused on doing versus the word that we will get to shortly, being. Oftentimes, this can lead to a sense of isolation. This can lead to a sense of getting that sense of gratification from yourself, by yourself, and still perhaps being sensitive to rejection by others, so withdrawing a bit. Some people may find themselves in proving to self and not in proving to others. Although I will say it is more common based on how we were born. We have caregivers and we're relatively helpless when we're very young, and we learn that we are able to get more of our needs met by being more agreeable and attuning to the other versus ourselves. So what can be a sort of rebellion or feel like a rebellion is to focus radically on yourself. There's this term that's going around, being in your villain era. And then these memes that are talking about, oh, look, I'm in my villain era. I set a healthy boundary. It's like, okay, it may feel like you're in a villain era just by putting yourself first, and not to the detriment of others. Maybe you're literally considering your own needs and saying, oh, actually, tonight doesn't work for me, but how about another night? And then you feel horrible. You know, that would be focusing on the other. But actually, there are nuances here. So let's dive into now this third part, which is not proving yourself to others, not proving yourself to yourself, but being worthy. Being worthy. Okay, let's say what it doesn't look like. It doesn't look like you never making promises to people. It doesn't look like you floating around without any accountability or any goals or being rooted in this reality or the society that you're in. What it looks like is checking in with how you feel and caring about it, caring about how you're feeling. And maybe that does mean that you will break promises. You won't do it lightly, but you'll notice in a relationship context, if you know in your heart that maybe you can't be your full self, or it's really run its course, maybe you either are still in it because you want the other person to have that validation from you being there, or if you feel like for whatever reason you would rather be in that than be in nothing or be in something else, there's an opportunity here to have that self-knowledge, to have those quieter moments, but then to not necessarily retreat into total isolation or solitude. And instead, it's this opportunity to get curious and even renegotiate promises based on new information. This is a sense of flexibility that's being introduced where you can introduce an open dialogue. And you may want to gauge first if the other party is open to that. Or you could simply state a matter-of-fact, concise boundary without too much explanation. However, when you care about the preservation of the relationship, I do recommend introducing a dialogue where, especially if you have this sense of knowledge about where you stand, maybe let the other person go first to verbally process what their experience is. And this kind of goes for yourself as well. Listen to yourself. Instead of being like, okay, check off the boxes, do the things, honoring how you feel without taking responsibility for how others feel when you act a certain way, and without necessarily being reactive and saying anything that is inherently hateful. That is not being in a state of being. I think sometimes there can be a misinterpretation of authenticity where, oh, whatever comes up, you share it, and that was being real. Where at our essence, the most real way that we can be is loving. So maybe that means that you take some space and some time to realize or understand better the ways that you've proved yourself to others, or the ways that you've attempted to prove yourself to yourself. And what would it be like to not necessarily be inactive and not take action, but to have the things that you decide are your healthy habits, but maybe have some flexibility within those. Maybe you exercise every day, 8 to 9 a.m., but maybe you do yoga one day because you're feeling tired, that sort of thing, right? So I'd love to hear any examples that come to mind about how you can be in more of a state of being worthy versus chasing after it. Wishing you a beautiful day. Until next time.